Well, we're now going to make the fiberglass sheets up today, so we just cut 2 bits of mat off the roll. That's 450 gram mat. Obviously, we buy it in whole rolls, what, like 73 kilo, 100 square meters. So we've got 2 bits of mat, they're 32 inches wide, and obviously the width of the roll. So that should be enough to do that stainless sheet twice, and that'll be enough to make the panels up to go around the front of the splash screen. And we just put the sheet of stainless on the bench to support it. That's the one I give like 7 coats of release wax yesterday, the old mould release wax, it wouldn't stick to it. So let's just hope in a little while when I lay it up we won't get no fiberglass sticking to it. If not, that'll be a nightmare. An absolute grade A nightmare trying to get it off that. But there you go, you need to try. Let's hope that works right. Well, I've just poured some acetone in a bucket, so when I've used the roller for the first layer, I can stick it in there and stop that from going off. But what I will say is don't dip it in there on the first go. Because if you dip it in there on the first go and you get it on that sheet, that'll strip the wax off and that'll stick like put to a blanket, if you know what I mean. So I'm not going to use it on the first go, but on the second go when I use it, I'll be swinging that around the garden to get every single bit of acetone off it. Because you get acetone on that sheet what's been waxed, you're doomed, game over. Your fiberglass is sticking to it, and that's the end of that. So to stop that acetone from evaporating, I'm going to stick a lid on it, ready for after we've laid up the first layer of mat. Obviously, mat's sitting there ready to go on the old picnic table as you do. So I'll just weigh some resin out. Well, I've just topped up the old dispenser for the catalyst. Worth their weight in gold, them catalyst dispensers. I always leave that in the bucket because that's horrible old stuff. You spill on anything, that'll melt it, or that's not nice stuff to get on you. So I always leave it in a bucket. But you can go click, squeeze it, and obviously you see the mil measurements up the side. So that's easy peasy. Well, I'm now going to weigh up the resin. As you see there, I've borrowed my mother's scales, so I always put a plastic sandwich bag over them or get killed. But that ain't quite a square metre each sheet, but I think that'll roughly be about 900 grams to the resin to roll that out. So I'll put a kilo in each tub, so that'll leave me with a little bit in the bottom I can swill around, and I can break the tub out, because if you don't leave anything in it, you can't get the thin layer of resin out. But if you've got like a few mil, that'll break out when it's cured. So let's get that in there. That's got 1,010 grams in, so just gonna slightly over a kilo, but I can live with that. And stick the other bucket there too. And that's got 1,011 in it, so it's pretty close in it. I can live with that. That, I want this to go off pretty quick, and because there's only 1 layer thick, I'm going to use 2 mil catalyst. So, well, 2%, so it's 2 mil per 100 grams, so that's 20 mil. That's 20 mil per kilo, 2%. Well, I'll just put the 20 mil catalyst in and give it a good stir all around the edges. I couldn't find the spatulas, I don't know where the box has gone, so I had to use a stick. I'll give that a good stir. Scrape around the sides. I'm sure this kilo here will be more than enough. I'm hoping to have like 50 to 100 grams left over, so I can coat the bucket and break it out easy enough. Because obviously if you don't leave much in the bucket, you can't get it out. So now, time to lay up. Well, as soon as you put the resin on it, the star and everything attack, because this mat is all held together with binders. All the glass strand is held together with a binder, and that's the styrene in the fiberglass resin will break that binder down. So obviously that stop them like stiff in a roll, and then just do its own separate filaments. That's the styrene what break the binder down in it. A lot of people say about using a paddle roller, but I don't like them. I hate the bloody things. I know it's the proper way, but I never use one of them paddle consolidation rollers, so I don't like them. Everyone's different and everyone likes different things. I know all the so-called experts use the consolidation rollers, but I don't like them. I don't use them. I've got a couple, I've used them before, and they're not for me. Everyone's different and you've got to find what you like yourself. At the end of the day, fiberglass, and there's nothing complicated about it. That's just paper mache for adults, really, isn't it? Well, it is, isn't it? It is paper mache for adults. And if you can get it consolidated and get the air out without using the consolidation roller, then that doesn't really matter. This ain't got to be perfect. This is only a sheet I'm going to cut up and use for panels to extend that with some flyer splash screen. That's getting there. You see it's starting to go see-through. Look there, I left a little bit of resin in there, so I can just spin it round the sides, let it settle to the bottom, and that'll harden and break out lovely. So I'm just going to consolidate this a bit more, get the rest of the bubbles out. That's looking pretty good. There's nothing hard about fiberglass, and that is just paper mache for adults. This will be glassed on again anyway, so once it's cut, this will be glassed upon as well. This is obviously just to make the rigid structure, to extend the splash screen. Because when we try to do it with plywood, we didn't want to use plywood, but I put plastic over it and the styrene reacted with the plastic and all made it bubble up. That looked horrendous, so I cut all that out and decided to do it this way. You can actually buy fiberglass sheet, but that's very expensive. That's precision stuff though, that's totally flat, like polished through sides, but the price of it is scary. And you think here, how much this cost? What's the resin? About 5-6 quid a kilo, and the mat, a couple of quid a kilo, if that. So this sheet is probably going to cost about 7 quid, 7.5 quid. You buy that and that'll be about 50 quid. And for now, that's done for me. I'm now to leave it. I'm just obviously getting the roller, trying to get most of the resin off, just scraping it on the bucket edge. Let's get most of it off. Then I'll just stick it into a tub of acetone. Give it a good, turn it over and give it a good rinse in the acetone. And any resin what's in that will get washed off. Well, it definitely wouldn't harden. Just leave it to soak now. Put the lid on. And if you look at that sheet, even if I do say it's myself, you can see there's going to be a little tiny bit of air in it. But that doesn't really matter because we're going to lay up on top of that and that'll absorb more resin and adhere better anyway. But I'm happy with that. That'll be alright. Let's hope in 20 minutes we'll be able to snap it off. If not, we'll be in big trouble. And not only have I wasted fiberglass, I wasted a sheet. Stainless was more expensive. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's all looking good. Hopefully in 20 minutes that'll have gone off and job's a good one. Then we'll just hopefully pop it off. That's the theory. If it doesn't, we're doomed, but hopefully it'll just pop off. And then I'll have to clean it up again and give it some more coats of wax and do it again, but that's all we need is 2 sheets. That's enough to make them panels, what in the last video you saw in plywood. That's plenty enough, 2 sheets. Well, that was virtually gone off, so we just move the whole stainless into the sun so I get a bit of heat into it and that'll really go hard pretty quick. So that was definitely gone off, as you can see. Touch it, no problem. But obviously we want that to go really hard and we can pop that off. The job's a good one. Well, let's see how this release. Get on the corner. Oh, look at that. Lovely. Just how you want it. Piece of proverbial. When I lift that off and put it on a bit of wood to fully cure, see, look, see it sticking back down to the wax. And then I'll get this cleaned and prepared, ready for the next one. That made me happy, that do, when it come off like that. That could have been so much worse. Well, that couldn't have gone any better. That came up a treat. I always get a bit of a worry when you lift something off something with your glass on in case it stick like a pup to a blanket, but that came off a treat. I'll now leave that in the sun because look, you see, it's still a bit flexible. I'm now leave that in the sun, that's going to go rock hard. And then, that's time to clean up this again. There's not much on it. Around the edges there's a few scabby old bits. So I'm going to clean all that up and give it another coat of wax, ready for the next sheet. To clean all them bits off, I don't want to use nothing what's going to remove the previous wax, so I just want to add on to it. I don't want nothing to scratch it, so I'm just going to get a bit of wooden stick, what I use stirring rod, just give it a quick scrape over. It's not going to, that's going to damage the wax, the previous wax, at least as possible, and just knock it off. Ain't a lot on there, so yes, nearly all gone now. A little bit at this end. I'll just knock all off and get it clean and wax up again. Yeah, I now scraped all the bits off with a bit of wood, and now I'm just going to go over with a brush, just sweep it clean. Remove all the remnants. And you can see if I need any more scraping or not. That looked pretty good if you ask me. That was a little bit there just on the edge, just have it. I think some of them little dents might actually be dents in the stainless sheet. It's now ready for a couple of coats of wax. Well, it's now time to start waxing again. So we'll get the old honey wax with a rag and go over it. Well, it worked really well, and I was happy with that. Couldn't ask for any better. But generally, flat stuff like this stainless, that can come off pretty easy. I know people do have disasters, we've all had them. But luckily this weren't one. Well, we had our disaster last week, trying to glass over that plastic. So I just put that on there. Leave that 5 minutes to haze over. And then I'll rub it off again, polish it, buff it up. Well, this is the third wax. I waxed it twice and left it 10 minutes a time. I'm now going to buff the third one off. I think that should be enough. I ain't going to bother anymore, because I already had a few coats previously. Well, I put 7 coats on it before I laid it up. Really want a light buffing, just to take the haze off the wax. So originally that was 7 coats laid up, just getting all the balls of wax off. There's quite a few little balls. So originally that's 7 coats, then we laid them up, then cleaned it up, and I'll put another 3 coats on it. And now we're ready to lay up again. Well, I just took the roller out of the acetone, and you got to shake it as much as you can to get it off, because you don't want that acetone getting on that wax you just put on there, because it'll strip the wax off, and the fiberglass will stick like a proverbial to a blanket. So all I do is shake most of it off in the tub, then give it a good swing in the garden, and then leave it for a couple of minutes, and everything on that will be gone. Well, I just laid up the second sheet. I ain't bothered recording it because it's exactly the same as laying up the first sheet. Yeah, might want a little bit more consolidation, but that'll be fine. We're going to put another several layers over the top of this. This is just like a form for a mould for the extension. And now I'm just going to leave that to harden off. Cure. The other sheet is getting there. It's getting still a bit flexible, but it's getting harder. That harden up really hard after a few days. I think it'd take about a week to actually, for fiberglass to get its full hardness. But sitting in the sun, get plenty of heat in it. And that one is just curing as we speak. Well, I'm cheating a bit. I just lifted the corner up. That's why you see them air bubbles, but yeah, that's going to come away lovely as well. But I'm just going to leave it there for a little bit longer to cure a bit more because they're still quite soft. I'll just make sure it didn't stick, so now you've got to glue them and do other stuff. I thought I'd just help the old chap while I could. And with that, thanks for watching and see you later. That's how you make 2 fiberglass sheets. Thanks for watching. Catch you later, boys and girls. Bye.